According to a few sources in the BCCI, some of the key players and the senior cricketers in Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, and Jasprit Bumrah are likely to be rested for the Sri Lanka series that will be after India's tour of Zimbabwe ends, and India is scheduled to play three T20 internationals and three ODIs on that tour. I have Shalini with me, and we are not here to just discuss about the series, but we are here to discuss about a very important aspect of cricket, that is recovery and also scheduling. Now, why I say that is because, yes, if the selectors feel that the senior cricketers need rest, which they rightly do, so in a way, you're saying that there's too much cricket being played. Am I right, Shalin? Do you feel the same?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there is actually too much of cricket
Right.
being played, because of which obviously these cricketers, the senior players, they have to be rested so that they can keep their form, and also it helps their health. That is the reason why they have to be rested. And so again, therefore, you have to send another team in young players
True.
according to the format, and therefore again there's a lot of pressure, love. I think there's a lot of pressure on the selectors as well, because they at times, because of a dearth of choice, as they do have to send young players who are not that experienced, maybe in that particular format, and then if anything goes wrong, then again
Yeah.
they are at the receiving end of it, or they are actually bearing the brunt. And so therefore that is again a little bit unfair in case of the selectors, I guess.
True that. And the thing is that BCCI has offered these players rest. This is again according to the sources. It isn't confirmed yet, but we are telling you what we are hearing and what we have been told about. What players have been told is that you can take rest on the Sri Lanka tour, and which is, I guess, just a week long tour, and they can then join the team in September when India tours Bangladesh for a full fledged tour. So, having said that, what I feel is after the World Cup and before this Zimbabwe tour, I think BCCI or even the cricket boards against which we are playing, that is Sri Lanka and also Zimbabwe, do you think, जैसे कहते हैं फालतू की series, these two were फालतू की series because you didn't require them, but you just had to put them in between certain big tours?
Yes, absolutely. Love. I think we just had the T20 international
Right.
the World Cup, and then again, and India is now playing at T20 with a new team, obviously. So therefore, that it is kind of repetitive, of course, again. And the new players who did not get a chance to play in the
Yeah.
World Cup, they might be getting a chance, that's true. Oh, but then again, it is repetitive also. And I one more thing I think is that it is very difficult for the cricket followers to also keep a track of the players as who are playing in the playing 11, because
So
again,
she says that BCCI shouldn't schedule matches because it's difficult to keep a track of the players.
no, not
Since
really.
there's so much cricket, Shalini doesn't feel like watching it, right?
Yes, yes,
Like most of the fans, that
yes,
she's right in a
yes.
way.
You reach a saturation point when you
True.
are like only watching cricket at all the time, and you cannot really remember also all the time that the names of the players and how they are playing and their
Yeah,
track records and
that's a
everything.
problem,
So
yeah,
yeah.
because you don't remember the names of the players. Now that's a problem.
Yes,
The
you cannot.
BCCI should consider
I
that.
think you cannot make that connection also among the
That's true.
that is something which is lacking, because there's too much cricket, I think, right
There
now.
is too much cricket, yes, and I'll tell you this very funny thing that happened in the Zimbabwe series as well. Shalini, there was so less turnaround time between India's tour of Zimbabwe and the World Cup
Mhm.
that India jersey that had only one star.
Yes.
They didn't have time to actually make new jerseys with two stars since we won the World
World
Cup,
Cup,
and
yeah.
we should probably definitely have two stars, right? But
Yes.
these players are still playing with one. So that's how less of a time BCCI has between these series. So it clearly shows that yes, there's an overdose of cricket, and also the fact what I feel is that somewhere or the other, these youngsters that are being given chance. Uh, I don't know if you agree to that or not, but I feel that getting an India cap these days has become very easy. There was time when you had to earn that cap. Players used to wait and then just continue to practice, and wait for their chance to come. But I think nowadays senior players gets rest, and after that there's this little series in between when you push your youngsters, your players who have done well in the IPL, if I may put it that way. And also the fact that when the senior players return, these young cricketers probably become scapegoats
Absolutely.
and they get dropped.
Absolutely, I think that is a very valid point. Just like I mentioned a while earlier that, and because of a dearth of choice, times the selectors have to send and a very young team or
Yep.
new players as according to the format, obviously. And therefore there is. There are players who are not really experienced, or does not have that kind of experience that which you need in this kind of format, or have played just one IPL series or something like that, and then they are going for international tours representing India. And then if there is a problem, or then if they are not being able to perform,
Hmm.
again the selectors are being questioned. And
True.
recently BCCI had sacked at the entire selection board. So therefore I think again there is a problem, there's a confusion. And the selectors also don't have a choice if you have so many games.
Yeah.
And also the players also don't have a choice, because they also have to retain their form, and senior, especially the senior players, as for big games. So then there is a problem.
There is a problem, and if just adding to that,
Yeah.
I suddenly remember Rinku Singh. You remember he played the entire year before the
Yeah.
T20 World Cup, and then suddenly when the team was selected, he wasn't a part of it. He was a part of it, but as reserves, right? And
Even
that's what
Shubman Gill for
happens.
that matter, even Shubman Gill for that matter, it was in the reserve. So therefore, there is a problem, because obviously, whenever the senior players, you cannot really rest Virat Kohli for a T20 World Cup, right?
Yeah,
And then so it's easier to not select at Rinku Singh there, or it is easier to put Shubman Gill in the reserved slot.
yeah.
So therefore, that is something which happens. And so
It will be interesting to see whether these senior cricketers actually go on to opt for rest in the Sri Lanka series, because remember, you were also playing three ODIs there, and yes, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have retired from T20 internationals. But ODI practice is necessary because there aren't much ODIs left for India to play before the Champions
Champions
Trophy as
Trophy,
well.
yeah.
So, as much as we have, we should, I think, play ODI cricket as well. But having said that, Jasprit Bumrah being given rest, I remember he was a big contender for India's captaincy as well. But then you have to manage his workload as well because of injuries. So I think in a way you are also taking away the fact that Jasprit Bumrah probably cannot lead India because most of the times he's rested. So
Yes.
you can't have that sort of a captain, right?
Yes.
So these are the things that actually creep up from this, and we try to discuss that with you. And it would be very good if you also share your feedback and tell us what you guys think, that is there an overdose of cricket, and should senior cricketers be given rest? Because it's clearly speaking, giving rest to senior cricketers in itself proves that BCCI knows that there's too much cricket
Too much
and these
cricket is.
cricketers need rest.
Yes.
So why to send a second string side? I mean, I'm completely in favor of giving chances to youngsters, but then what I'm against is the fact that when big tournaments arrive, when you're playing against big teams, these youngsters are nowhere to be seen. That's my problem. But let's see what happens if the senior cricketers actually opt for rest, which I think they will.
Yes.
Shalini, you want to add anything to that?
I think again, obviously, the BCCI should not just as go for tours or international tours just because, as you have to give a chance to these young
Right.
players, as you need to earn the cap. Obviously, the Indian cap, and a team, a very well balanced team, aim needs to be formed. And you also need to think about the form and everything, the physical condition of the player. So all of this has to be taken care of,
Right.
and it takes a lot to make a good player or a good team. So therefore you
Right.
cannot
Right.
stretch them to that extent.
Completely, and I'm sure that any of these young cricketers who are getting a chance to represent India, they'll accept that with both of their hands. But then it's just that they should continue playing as well, and not just. And this shouldn't be just for one series, and you try out a cricketer and just give him that stamp of yes, he has played for India. I think they should earn it. Yes, IPL performances matter, but then not to an extent where you just
Represent your country.
represent your country for just one series.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens, and what let's see what's the future is for these senior cricketers as well. If you like this, do give it us a like, and do comment. As I said, that your feedback is very important to us. And as Shalini says in Siddhant's absence, support us, don't abuse
Abuse
us.
us. Exactly.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll surely join you on some other discussion as well.